Hey everybody, welcome to Concrete, Keeping It Real. I'm glad to bring to you all a great friend of mine. I've known her for years, but I have to say there's people out here amongst us that we just don't talk about enough, and she needs to be talked about. Her name is Gwen Babyface. How you doing, sister?
I'm winning yourself.
Well, the reason why I brought you on this show is I think a lot of young girls out here needs to hear your testimony because you're an ordinary woman, but with an extraordinary testimony. And I like to start off that from the very beginning, you were at a disadvantage. And I'm not going to say disadvantage. You was raised without your parents.
Correct.
And I can't even imagine not having my parents. I just became an orphan just 2 years ago. And I'm still burdened with that pain. But you've been dealing with this all your life. So let's go back. How was it growing up without your parents? Or when was the first time that you remember that you were without?
I'm gonna say after my second child. After having my second child, that to have someone to be able to care for them or watch them if I was wanting to do something.
Right, a support system.
Correct.
That's powerful because I understand that because I myself have a child and she had both grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a grandparent, but I had parents. But if my child needed to be watched, it was nothing for the child's mother to drop her off over my parents' home or her parents' home to be watched. So I can understand that. I can relate to that. So that was when you first realized you were affected by not having parents? Because I would think in elementary school, you were somewhat affected when you seen kids being dropped off by their parents, or when they were having father's daughter day or mother's daughter day. Did that affect you at those times? Did it not affect you?
It did. And I just, I had my aunt at the time, which was my mom's sister.
Right.
That took the place of her, because my dad was already deceased.
So let's give a timeline. Let's give a timeline. When did your parents pass away? Let's give a timeline. How old were you?
I believe I was 5 or 6 years old.
Do you have any vivid memories of your parents?
Pictures.
But no memories of you. No memories. No. If you do, if you don't, you don't.
Vaguely. It's
Vaguely.
I remember my mom and my dad going at it. You know, like.
That's memorable.
Yes, my dad did something. My mom was going after him. I remember that when I was hiding under the bed.
Wow. So that's probably why you remember.
And I remember the funeral for my mom.
And how old were you when your mom passed?
How old I was?
Yeah.
Probably 7, 8.
How old were you when your dad passed?
That I don't remember.
Wow.
I don't remember.
So you were fairly young. So here you are in grade school, having to go to school without
Both parents.
the parents that were to love you unconditionally.
Correct.
How did you push through?
I took it day by day. I'm basically, my aunt was the anchor at that time.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have an older sister. I have an older brother from my dad's side, and I have a younger brother.
So did you all find yourself having to be grown-ups, having to grow up fast?
At that time, it was my sister that was the one that held us down because my aunt didn't have the fundamental of when she came to the States, so she did not know
the culture,
correct.
the American
So it was
culture,
very,
American culture.
difficult.
So I could picture you, if you say auntie, I could picture you as a bunch of kids because she had to have kids, did she?
Yeah, she had one son.
So it was cousins, it was you, your cousin, all in one household.
Correct.
Did she treat you any different or did she treat you as one of hers?
As her own.
She loved you unconditionally also.
Unconditionally.
So her being an immigrant, just come,
Mm-hmm.
taking care of hers and not having to take care of her sister kids.
Mm-hmm.
So she was selfless.
Correct.
Did you get some of her qualities? Because you're quite selfless yourself.
I am. I feel by this happening, it caused me to, I guess, to see life a whole different way. A whole different way. Me, I have that I don't tell my kids what I'll be doing for them. When I'm gonna give them something, I don't like to fail them. So it's like, I don't tell them right away. I don't tell them that we're gonna go do this. I don't wanna be able, if I don't wanna say something and I'm not able to make it happen for them.
Wow.
So my oldest, when he got a little older, he was like, Mom, it's okay. You don't have to, you could tell me, but you could tell them to the little ones.
Right.
To me, it's like, it's okay. Like, just to keep it minimum, like I don't like to disappoint them.
So you were disappointed a lot as a child.
I feel like I didn't have the, so much growing up.
So how did that affect you in your adulthood?
Make me become a better person. Like I just try to be me.
So let me bring the viewers up to speed. You are incredibly loved by your community. You are like Miss Mammy Mayor. Like you handled the school reunion, and we're talking about 20 years later from when you graduate. Why do you think so much people gravitate towards you? Because to go through all that, and I'm quite sure most of these individuals don't even know your past. They're probably hearing it now for the first time. Because you always kept a smile on your face.
Yeah.
But here we are hearing that you was raised without your parents. And that's what I admire so much, that you pushed through all of that and not one time use that as an excuse to go the other way.
Sure.
So tell us, when you were going to high school, pursuing your education, did that hinder you?
It did not. I pushed through it as much as I can. And I feel when I talk with someone, I just show one thing about me, I like to check on the person, make sure they're okay, and a text, a call, saying hello goes a long way, because you never know what that person is going through.
That's powerful.
And when they come back, or if they text me back or call me back, they say, Gwen, that day that you text me, you really didn't know what I was going through.
Wow.
And it really kept me afloat, that I'm able to make somebody feel like that.
Right. Right.
And some smiles are a killer and some smiles are not.
What you mean by that? Explain.
Because I can give a smile and then you're dying inside. You're hurting. You have so much going inside that you don't show it, you don't say it, you don't express it.
Right.
You keep it inside and you mask it with a smile. Because you don't need the person to know what you're going through.
And it's funny that you say that, because as long as I've known you, you always have a smile on your face. I've never ever seen like a frown. I don't even think you know how to scold. I don't even think you know how to mean mug. Where does that come from?
I have my days.
You have your days?
Yes, I do. But it's like you just gotta keep it going. You do. Life don't stop. You gotta keep it going.
As I recall, I remember, let's talk about your first pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
You were pregnant and I myself was having a child. And I can remember talking to you, and it was like, it was our first child.
Mm-hmm.
So the discussion was like, what are we gonna do? And I remember you said you're keeping yours, and it was talking about finances, future. What are you gonna do? What was going through your mind when you was having your first child?
What's done was done. I didn't believe in abortion
Right.
or destroying the child, or I didn't believe in that. So
Right.
I felt like me and the father of the child, we were gonna do what we have to do in order to raise our first child.
Right.
And we did just that. And he's about to be 24 years old.
Right. 24 years later, my God,
Right?
time has flied,
Yes, he has.
and he's an incredible boy.
He is. He is. He is.
Did you see that back then? Did you see back then when you were trying to put stuff together?
No, afraid. I was afraid. I didn't
You was,
know what
and that's what I'm trying to hear. What were you afraid of? Because I can only imagine. Like I said, me, I had my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I had a support.
Mm-hmm.
You were out here, just you and the child's father,
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure this out.
Correct.
What was going through you at that time?
At that time, we, minimum wage, the jobs,
The grind.
his mom was going to work. We had to make the best of it, I went to college.
And how's that, having a kid and going to college at the same time?
I had to take the daycare at the school. So when I woke up, I dropped into daycare, and then I went to school because there was the facility there.
So there was a daycare on campus?
Correct.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a daycare on campus for you to
For
drop
the
your kid?
students, yes.
So you're doing this consistently while pursuing your education?
Yes.
Wow.
Starting from the morning, walking up,
Mm-hmm.
going to 7th Ave, catching the bus all the way to downtown, or I get a ride from one of my friends.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And that did not stop you from getting your
No.
education?
It did not.
What was driving you at that time?
What was, say,
What was your motivation? What was driving you?
trying
Because
to,
some people, and I'm sorry if I just,
Mhm.
because some people at that moment when they have a kid, you hear about it. You have mothers that kill their kids
Mhm.
because of the postmortem stress,
Mhm.
the stress that they go through. And having a kid is no joke.
It's not.
It's a child is no joke. It's a handful. And here you are telling me you're catching buses. You're doing what most won't sometimes to pursue an education. So that was what drove you.
Knowing that I had a child that didn't want to give up on him. I wanted him to know that growing up is tough as it is.
It is.
It's tough.
It
I
is.
just didn't want to give up on him. I didn't, because at that time I was young,
You were.
and giving up wasn't an option.
And where does that come from?
The strength of a mother raising their child in this society.
In this society. So you think in this society is it, and when we talk about society as a whole, do you think is fair? The society?
Depends.
In what aspect?
If fair as far as some might see that, since you have a child, you need to stop what you're doing and don't continue. And the other fairness is, you have a child, you still do what you have to do because you still gotta provide for the child.
You do.
And it doesn't get any better than that. You just gotta keep pushing and trucking until you do it. And no looking back, because what's done is done.
And I'm here to say that your journey is short of amazing, because I know you personally, and you're a great friend to many.
Thank you.
not just me, to many. The reason why I'm here is because of you. Because you did something that was selfless. And when I say you did something that was selfless, you took a position where you did not have to partake through my trial and tribulation, through my incarceration. When I probably needed a couple individuals to come testify on my behalf. And you came, you were one of the ones that took the forefront and said that you would. Even after the state vehemently called you a liar and came against you and did not want you to testify against me. Testify for me. How was that sitting on the stand when the state were calling you a liar about everything that you were saying about me? How did you feel at that moment? Did you feel you were treated fairly on the stand?
I would say I was showing who I know before, who I knew from when I was growing up with you.
Right.
I'm not portraying what they're seeing at the moment.
Right.
So that's all I kept. What I know you,
Right.
what you're capable of doing.
Right.
What you showed, what we shared, what we did together as an individual, how we talked about our kids.
Right.
Growing up.
Right.
And the fact that you wasn't able to get that opportunity.
Right.
Because of pushbacks. So yeah, it made me feel some type of way.
Right. And I admire your strength because most people are not there when their friends are in need. They turn their back, or they simply say, that's not my problem. And not me, not just me, you've done that for all your friends. Every last friend, mutual friend I hear about have nothing but great things to say about you. And I can honestly say I have nothing but great words to express about you. And I thank you. Because, like I said, I would not be here without your testimony, painting me in a different light, rather than all the negativity that they spoke about me during my trial. So your testimony was wondrous for me. So I thank you. Now, you were able to have a business called Bouncy Feet. Tell us about that. Where did that originate? Where did that come to thought?
Well, if I may start, it was with my current spouse, my husband. I kept going to events with the kids, and he said, "You keep going. I think we should come up with a company that they'll come to our events." So that's how it started. It came from every weekend going to somebody to every weekend they was calling us.
They were calling you. And what year this started?
2007.
So we're talking about 2007, almost 17 years in the business.
Correct.
A great business for kids, and you do all events?
All events.
And you're the woman that everybody call when they want to throw an event for.
Just about, yes. And it's our word of mouth.
But word of mouth is better than any promotion, because word of mouth is someone actually valuing your service. And where did you acquire these skills to give a great service during these events?
I think my personality.
You have a beautiful personality.
And it also go by, it started with just the chairs and tables.
Chairs, it started off small.
Yes, and then the other items we would rent it from other people, but you cannot tell.
They were rented?
Correct, you have to put it in as a package.
Wow.
And then you give the other person their part and we keep our part.
Right.
And that's when we started to.
So it started off as a small seed.
Yes.
Did at any when you started your business, did at any point that you were skeptical, you were hesitant? Did you have any trepidation?
It was it's very competitive.
It is.
Because at that time, you know, you have that side of the world, which is Hialeah, you have that side, you have Broward, you have the other side of Dade. So you have to bring something to the table.
That's different.
That's different.
What did you bring that was different?
I feel me engaging with them, like I like, what's that thing, face-to-face in concert. I was the woman behind the phone. And my husband was the laborer. He was the person that bring the item.
Right.
So when I finally, so it will be from here to there, like once if the event is done, I go there.
In person.
And they'll say, who? I said, I'm Gwen. You're the one
behind the phone
yes.
that I was speaking
yes.
to.
So when they call me or when they call back again,
yeah.
they'll be like, hey, I say, hello, how are you? And we go from there.
And from word of mouth, your business spread.
And
you've had over hundreds of events.
Correct. Till now. And going.
Do at any time do you plan on adding to this?
I do like workers. I want to be able to say, John, I'm doing this event.
Oh, so you're still physically the one that
yes
partakes in everything.
Correct.
Okay. So you're still in person. So they want Gwen when they throw their events.
Majority.
So from elementary school all the way to now, these obstacles you were able to overcome, the challenges that were thrown your way, here you are now. And as I said, you just recently, when was the last reunion that you threw for No Man?
That was 2021 because we had the pandemic, so we couldn't do it 2020.
And that was 20-year anniversary or
20th
anniversary, and they picked you to orchestrate everything.
To be a part of it, yes. We had a team, and right now we're working on. We're doing our 25th reunion.
Wow.
25.
So let me ask you, what's one thing you would go back and change or rectify if you had the chance? One thing.
During when?
In any moment in your life.
Better money management. Because when I turned 18, 19, I was applying to every credit card.
Destroyed you.
That was a big one.
Destroyed you.
Yes, and I didn't have no one at the time
to teach you.
Correct.
Why do you think they don't teach us that in school? Because that should be life number one lessons.
It should.
Finances.
Yes.
Why do you think they didn't teach us that in school?
I don't know. They
teach us a lot that we do not apply now, but
correct.
And that was one of them that should have applied to us.
Correct.
So money management would be one thing that
yes, I will say. Yeah, because it really affect you, like with your credit.
Right.
Doing certain things and how people see you. Because right now, a person, the first thing they will say, what is your
credit score? Yeah, what's your credit score?
It really affect you.
And the funny thing, credit score is a tricky situation because it don't really reflect who you are, you know, because it fluctuates, it goes up and down at any given moment.
It does.
However, that is something that is looked upon for anything.
Yep.
So that would be the one thing that you would change?
I would say, yeah, the money management and how, yes.
So now you've been married for how long?
17 years.
17 years. There's no life pointer you would like to tell us all on how to keep a long-standing marriage for 17 years. You was gonna leave that out? 17 years is a long time. What pointers would you give us?
Trust and communication. Trust and communication.
Why do you think some of us lack that?
Probably from their, from what they see around them, or what other people portray on that.
I like that you used the word portray because that would have been my next question. As you know, the name of the show is Concrete Keeping It Real. So my next question I would impose on you, and you give this some thought. What does keeping it real mean to you? Why do you think people like to give other versions of themselves to others?
Keep being true to yourself. Being who you are. Don't change for nobody. Don't change. If that's what you know, you keep that. And if that person do not appreciate that, let it be.
And what kept you so tough, Skim? Because when it was taboo to be friendly or like back in our younger days, what kept you driven, like stayed the woman that you were? Because you are the same woman, you would say hi to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And you are the same woman yesterday that you are today. What kept you so reserved in who you are?
Keeping my attitude and my smile and my keeping it real. Keeping it
Powerful.
Keeping
Simple.
it real. Mm-hmm. It's tough.
Why is it tough being real? Keeping it real to yourself. Why is it tough?
Because someone can say something about you and that person probably would take it without you even knowing the person.
Wow.
When that's being said or being
Wow.
shown, that person still have to see who you are, no matter if you say it to that person. If you just take that one word, that doesn't mean that's the person. You have to see the person, you have to engage with the person, you have to be around the person. For me, I can call the same people that when I married in 2006, they could still be here now. I still talk to them.
Right.
It's the same people, the same amount of, the same attitude.
Right.
You know, and giving people an attitude and the way you talk and the way you treat them goes a long way.
You know what I've known, and I think this is proven also. People don't remember what you say. People remember
What you do.
how they feel in your presence. It's not what you say sometimes. It's how they. It's a feel. That feeling never goes away, and that's what they remember. So is it frank to say that people feel peaceful in your presence, happy in your presence?
Yes, I've heard it all. It's like if you don't go, I'm not going. If you're not there, I'm not going.
So we're gonna leave it with that thought though, as we end this segment here. So you hear what Babyface Gwen said. Keep it real with yourself. Because people are gonna remember how they feel in your presence. And they're gonna remember how you treated them. So that's our show. Love.
Breaking my back, trying to get that. They gon' act like we cool, but they weren't that. I was dealing with it all on my own. Breaking my back, trying to get that. They gon' act like we cool, but they weren't that. I was dealing with it all on my own.
We'll get some.